So yeah, I'm gonna give this a go. It seems like a lot of people were pretty receptive into seeing my reptile room, having me talk about the reptile trade, the hobbies, my opinions on products, care, what I think maybe could be the best starter pets for people, questions I'll answer. You know, just my general opinion on the reptile world, the herpetology world, if you will, in the pet trade. I'm by no means an expert. Just a guy that grew up loving reptiles for the past 25 years. I think they're the best pet. And yeah, but like I said, this is my opinions. This is just my look on things, and I don't want anyone to take this as the word. I'm going to try to do this bi-weekly or even weekly if it goes really well. And yeah, and then, you know, if no one knows who I am, my name is Joseph Mintz, also known as Stockade. I am a professional independent wrestler. And yeah, we'll get this started. We can start with maybe a reptile room tour real quick, and I'm gonna feed my leopard tortoise, and I'll just do a general little talk about my animals. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so the first guy we got here is actually a female, and she's hiding right now underneath her log. But this is my female Razorback musk turtle. She was another animal I rescued. I have quite a few animals I rescued, actually, of people that couldn't take care of them and what have you. But she's in a 40 breeder with some fish here. We got some giant Danios, and I think we got a male and female beta there. There's the male. The female's floating around here. But yeah, she's in a 40 breeder. I would say with about 25 gallons of water. We got a nice submersible filter, a little heater. I got an aerator in there just to put some more oxygen in there, more for the fish than her. And I got some light cover. The light is a UVB light. Honestly, musk turtles rarely come out to bask. She's got a nice spot to bask. I don't put a heat lamp on her. The room in here stays to about anywhere between 72 to 75. I probably could put a heat lamp on her, but I'll be honest, I very, 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 if not at all, see her bask. It's a species that apparently very rarely comes out to bask. She spends most of her time on the bottom foraging for night crawlers and whatever else I throw to her. But yeah, she's an awesome little turtle, and she's a little bulldozer. She will, as you can see, digging around, and I just refixed up the tank here. I do monthly water changes. Drain about 3/4 of the water, refill it. Turtles are notorious for being very dirty, so, you got to keep up on them. And this is just a regular UVB light, just to give her, for her shell and stuff. I don't know how well it works penetrating through the water, but she has it when she needs it. So that's my female Razorback musk turtle. Then up here, we got Odin, my jeweled lacerta. They are also sometimes called the poor man's tegu. Let's see if I can get him to come out. I'm not sure on the sex. I know his name is Odin, or her name. Usually when they get a little older, you start to tell by the head. I think he or she's a little too young right now. But as you can see, the tank that Odin is in is the Thrive 40 breeder, I believe. I really like these tanks. They have a front locking door. I really like this type of door where you can access the animal in the front instead of going in. Reptiles, from what I've heard through other keepers and experts, when something approaches them from above, like if I would go through the top of the tank, it's more of a predator response. So, being so small, she thinks or he thinks I'm a predator. So being able to work with the animal through the front, as you can see, he's coming up. He's makes it a lot easier. Got a 75-watt basking spot here. I got my UVB. And like I said, the air temperature in the room usually stays between 72 to 75 degrees. A nice deep substrate he can get underneath and burrow. I have some other accoutrement, if you will. Just some stuff to make him feel more comfortable and happy, or him. And he or she's a little garbage disposal. Taking down pinky mice, crickets, roaches, super worms, silkworms, hornworms. Occasionally, I'll throw in some fruit. They are omnivorous. They will eat some fruit occasionally. But yeah, just an awesome lizard. Yeah, nice big yawn. Perfect. Giving the camera a show. Awesome lizard. Like I said, I've heard them called the poor man's tegu. They don't get as big, and I'm absolutely in love with him. I think he's awesome. So now we're gonna take a little trip. We'll give a quick little shot of the reptile room. We got some of my stuff here. I'm a big nerd. I got my weapons in case of the zombie apocalypse breaks out. We're good. And then in here, if I can get him, you can see, here's the rear. This is my store's monitor. His name is Thor. Yes, I did name him Thor. Let's get out the slate here. All right, so this is Thor. Let's see if I can wake him up a little bit. Hey, buddy. Let's see if I can get a good shot of him. There we go. So this is Thor, and he's probably not too happy that I'm waking him up. But this is my little buddy. He actually just got over being fairly ill. I actually thought I was going to lose him. He was very lethargic. He wasn't eating. There was nothing. He wasn't flicking his tongue. I was actually in tears. And my fiance was the one that basically gave me hope. And, you know, it's like, don't give up on him. He is an older animal. You know, these guys, from what I understand, don't happen to live a very long time in captivity. I think 5 to 7 years, maybe a little bit longer. But he turned the corner, and he's doing great, and he's pounding crickets and pinky mice, and he's doing great, and he's just waking up right now, so he's a little cold. He's going to heat up. I got him in a 30 long, which I will be upgrading. I believe this is by Zoomed. Again, another front opening door with the locks on it. I do like this tank, but I need to give him something a little wider. He will be moving into a Exoterra. I believe they have 30 breeder open front, but he's got UVB, and he's got a 100-watt basking bulb, Zoomed. And yeah, he just does his thing. It gets nice and warm in there for him, and he's all happy. But yeah, this is my little buddy. I love monitor lizards. If I had the room and the time, I would definitely be getting some bigger Varanus. But unfortunately, and probably lucky for me, I don't have that time or the money. So moving on, this is Godzilla. And he is my leopard gecko. And he was the one that kind of got me back into the reptile hobby. I was kind of out for a little bit. And I went to the Long Island Reptile Expo. This tank. And, you know, I like I said, I had reptiles my whole life. Actually, my first reptile was a leopard gecko. But, yeah, I was out for a little bit due to circumstances. I wasn't able to have some animals where I was staying. And I went to the Reptile Expo, like I keep saying, and just repeating myself. And I decided to get back into it, and he was the one. And that was about 4 years ago. And he's some type of morph of a leopard gecko. Honestly, I was sold to him by some guy that just had a table of animals. Probably isn't a morph. If he is, awesome. I don't care. But he is awesome. I love him. And, yeah, I guess he's the OG of the reptile room. And when I have people come over or I'm asked to bring some of my animals to a friend's house or a party, I always bring him. He's super calm, just a laid-back lizard, and I usually just let him chill and sit on my desk. When I'm doing work or reading my comics or, you know, I got some stuff I got to take care of, he'll usually chill out with me. If not him, it'll be Chubbs, who we will be seeing shortly. But yeah, as far as his enclosure, he's in a 20 long, which is more than enough for a single leopard gecko. He's got his hot hide, where underneath there is a heat mat. He's got a nice little cool hide, cool alligator statue head, nice big water bowl. And yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't need much. The UVB light is just there. There's a debate whether or not, you know, these guys need it, since they are mainly nocturnal where they come from, which I believe is in, I want to say, Pakistan area, I believe. But yeah, he's got his Hello Hot Hide on a thermostat. You can see right here, we're rocking and rolling. All these lights in my reptile room, except for Rupert's tank, are on timers. So they turn on, I believe, at 6:30 a.m. and they turn off around 10 p.m. So these guys get quite a bit of light and heat. Like I said, the UVB does not give off heat. The heat bulbs do, and the room stays to about 72 to 75 all the time. You can see he's going to go right back in. He's like, why'd you wake me up, man? Yep, there he goes. But yeah, I'm not a great big fan of this tank in terms of the access. Like I said, I have to go through the top, but he's been with me so long and he's so super chill that I know it won't affect him. But eventually, the plan is to get him into a open front tank, whether it be custom built or I purchase it elsewhere. Then down here, there's two of them. There's one right there. You can see the rear end, and then this right here. These are my fiance's axolotls. I believe that's an albino, and I want to say that's an exantic, or I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, these guys are kind of cool. I'm not really into amphibians. But yeah, they're cool. They're little eating machines. They pound night crawlers, and they are they breed like crazy. We haven't been successful with anything hatching. I mean, we haven't really tried. But they're in a bare bottom tank with a little hide for them to get out, completely dark, because it does get a little bright in here with the lights on. And just a submersible filter, and the tank has no heat. They like it cold, and they're doing great. And these are my fiance's axolotls. And they're the only animal in this room that is not mine. But I still take care of it. And yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, as far as I know, I believe I'm not 100% on this, but I believe they're used for studies. Like, they're super resistant to chemicals, and they're super hardy. I believe you can cut off a limb or cut a gill off, and it regrows. So they have these crazy regenerative powers. They're like the Wolverine of the amphibian world. So they're pretty interesting. Not really exciting. You kind of just sit there and stare at you with their goofy faces. I mean, they always look like they're smiling. But they're cool. And yeah, like I said, night crawlers, they have a pellet diet that they eat, and they're just cool little dudes. So now we're gonna roll on over, and we're gonna start down here. This is a 24 by 18 by 12 Exoterra open front, and this houses my little Rosy boa. This is Noodle. This is my buddy. I'm not going to disturb him too much. I've had him since he was a little hatchling. Got him at Reptile. He's pounding fuzzy mice about once a week. He's super cool. He's got a great feeding response. Like, if I go to pick him up, he'll probably try to bite me. But once he's out, he's cool. And he's not biting me out of aggression. He just thinks he's getting fed. And he's super cool. I believe he's some type of morph or locale. I'm not sure. I'm not really great on locales and stuff like that. But yeah, I believe it's a male. I will find out when he gets a little bigger. But like I said, Exoterra open front. He's got a heat pad on the thermostat along with the other snakes. And he's got UVB light as well. Again, debatable if they need it. It's always an argument in the reptile field. But I give it to him. I like it. It makes me happy. And if it makes me happy, I'm sure my animals are happy. And moving on, this is the Exoterra 30 breeder. It's not as high as the Thrive. They do make one. I love these tanks. I'm a big fan of open fronts. I like Exoterra. I'm not a fan of the screen from Exoterra. They're not super sturdy. In fact, you put enough weight on them, it'll go right through. That's why I'm a big fan of, and we'll move on to them because I have 4 more, of the Thrive tanks. I don't like the locking on the Thrives, but I like the screen tops. I know there's a brand out there, I believe, called Reptile that's got the best of both worlds, which eventually I do plan on hopefully getting some of them. But, the store I go to, Exotica, didn't have them in when I was getting all my animals. All my snakes are on these, I believe this is Zilla thermostat. And I keep it about 90 degrees for them. They can move. But this tank houses my Mojave ball python who's in shed. So he's a little dull. This is my male. This is my favorite morph in the ball python world. I do love blue-eyed leucistic ball pythons, but I love Mojaves. I don't know why. I always have. I think they're just super cool. I'm not going to disturb him too much. But he is an awesome snake. Big fan of ball pythons. He is eating either an African soft fur or a medium-sized rat about once a week. I tried to get him off of soft fur rats. If anyone wants to know, well, what's the difference, Stockade? Well, African soft fur rats allegedly are what they mainly eat in Africa, hence the name African soft fur. The problem is that they're a little bit harder to come by, a little bit more pricey. I'm lucky enough that the local reptile store by my house, which is less than 15 minutes away, Repzotica, carries them. So I'm fortunate. Sometimes people, and he'll take frozen, he'll take live. Same thing with my Rosy boa. They'll take frozen or live. Usually with the softers, I just buy live. I don't like doing it live usually, but sometimes it's just I got to do what I got to do. But yeah, he's on a heat mat on a thermostat with the Arcadia lighting UVB. Again, debatable as always. Then we move up on here, and we're not going to open this tank because these guys are lunatics. But these are my emerald green tree skinks, and I actually saw them for the first time on another YouTube show, Clint's Reptiles. Big fan of that show, along as Camp Kennan and Chandler's Wildlife. Kind of the inspiration I had like to do this. I mean, they're on a whole nother level. I'm just some dude in his house. But these are my emerald green tree skinks, and they're super cool. They're high energy. They're crazy. There are 3 of them. One of them is probably hiding underneath. They are with UVB, and I got them on a 50-watt heat bulb because from what I read and what I understand, where they are high up in the canopy, the temperatures are a little lower. I miss them once a day. And yeah, they're on little half-inch crickets, and they're doing great. One of them did drop his tail, but he's slowly regrowing it. And yeah, they are in a Thrive 18 by 2 by 12, I believe. Open front. I like the ventilation up here. This is another one of them. I like the ventilation, but you can see the lids are fantastic. Like, they're super strong. You know, I do have 2 cats. They're never really in here. They don't jump on the tanks, but God forbid if they would, I don't think they would have an issue going through it like they would that I've seen in the past with the Zoom Ed, the one that Thor's in, and the Exoterras with the screen very flimsy. But yeah, they're in there with some decor. Like I said, they're great. They're cool little lizards. Not really a handle me lizard. One of them in there, when I open the tank, he will jump out onto me, and it's always a panic because I don't need him to hit the floor and run. But yeah, and then moving on, I will open the tank here. This, again, I seem to have the poor man's version of everything. This is Ragnar, my green tree lacerta. He's a male, also known as the poor man's green tree monitor. Full grown. That should go back to that, actually. The Rosy boa will get about 2 feet, maybe a little under 2 feet. The bull python, he's got about maybe 4 to 5 feet. The skinks here, they're going to get a little bit bigger, probably top out, head to tail, I think about 8 to 10. Thor's full grown. Odin, the jeweled lacerta, he's going to be about 2 feet head to tail. But Ragnar here, he's full grown, and he's a cool little dude, a little wacky, a little crazy. Not really another handle me guy. Very smart. Very smart. He knows when he's going to get fed. He knows when the water's coming. Again, he's on a dual combo UVB, and he's with a 50-watt basking right underneath his branch, which he actually knocked over. I'll just move it. We'll just move the light. Usually it sits right under it. I believe these guys are from, I want to say, Africa or one of the side islands in Africa, but same family as Odin. He's a lacerta. Odin's a lacerta. Just the genus of lizards. There's a wide variety of them. Super cool, and he's in the same tank as the green tree skinks. Just the Thrive, tall, nice locking in. I'm not a great fan of this lock here. I feel like sometimes it's sturdy, but I feel like it's gonna break eventually. But yeah, that's Odin. That's Ragnar. And let's get a quick shot. Oh, look at the pops. Oh, look at that. Yes, I'm a nerd. And then in here, he's already like, what are you doing, man? This is Chubbs. He was a rescue. This is my bearded dragon. This is the ambassador. This is the boss. And Chubbs will come out, and he will hang out with everybody and just wants to see what's going on. He's in the same size tank as Odin, the 40 breeder Thrive, with 100-watt basking. He's got his UVB, and he's a bearded dragon. Possibly, definitely one of the best pet reptiles you can own. Very, very, very rarely are they inclined to bite. You may get some puffing up. They are called bearded dragons, and their neck gets nice and big, and they open their mouth. But usually they have super sweet temperaments. They're very laid back. They're very cool. And yeah, he's, I believe, I think they call it yellow or maybe a citrus. Again, I'm not really good with the morphs. Again, I rescued him from someone that just couldn't take him anymore. They bought him for their son or daughter, and they lost interest, which is sad because, like I said, he's a He's a sweetheart. He's a big mush. And he just wants to, he's like, leave me alone. Why are you bothering me? But yeah, this is Chubbs. And he's on a diet of superworms, crickets, dubias, hornworms, and occasionally he gets some vegetables. So we'll see. We're going to take a quick roll over. We're going to grab, this is some of the tortoise food. But we'll see if Chubbs is going to want to eat. You want to eat, buddy? Can I show you one? There you go. Come on. Good boy. Come on. That's just a little piece of romaine. He usually gets his own a little later in the day, but yeah, we'll do a little treat. But yeah, the bulbs, all the bulbs I use are Zoomed. I like them a lot better than the other brands that are out there. I'm not saying they are better, just my opinion. I've had better luck. They don't burst. The only other lights I use are the Arcadia strip lights, and I really like Arcadia. They are connectable, so they have a plug that all plugs in together, so if I turn one switch, they all turn off. Again, they're all on a timer, but if they weren't, I could turn them all off at once instead of going through individually, which is really great and makes for an easy time. And then down here is the third rescue out of the 4, and we'll see how he is. And this is Diablo, my snow corn snake male. He is super awesome. He's in the same tank as Odin and Chubbs, with a nice big hide here, with his heat mat. He's awesome. He's a great eater. Super nice, cool snake. He's just a big mush. And yeah, that's a snow corn snake. In terms of starter pets, if somebody asks me, hey, what can you give me the recommendation on starter pets? I would, honestly, it would be a leopard gecko. It would be a corn snake, bearded dragon, crested gecko, and, man, honestly, that's probably the 4 I would recommend. They seem to be, in my opinion, the most hardy. They're easy to care for, and, you know, it's a great starter. And then finally, moving down here, we got the newest addition. This is a female, a leopard tortoise. I rescued her from a gentleman that was moving. He couldn't take her with him. This is my first tortoise I've ever owned. And she is, she's a character. She's pretty cool. It's a custom-built enclosure. It's a deck box that I converted. I cut a nice little viewing window in it. It's 4 feet by 2 feet. We're going to feed her. Let's see if she's going to want to eat. She got her water bowl. I take her out as much as possible. She's got a nice little custom hide I designed for her. And she is with a 100-watt Power Sun bulb, which gives off heat and UVB. This is the fourth largest tortoise species in the world. I believe it's Galapagos, Aldabra, Sulcata, and then leopard tortoise. So she's the fourth largest tortoise in the world. The second largest mainland tortoise, meaning the Aldabra and the Galapagos are on islands. The Sulcata and the leopard are mainland, meaning a main continent of Africa. She's a South African species. She is a female. If I would pick her up and show you the underneath side of her, it's flat, not curved. Male tortoises have a curved, I don't know what the bottom, it's a curved bottom. But yeah, she gets a diet of romaine lettuce with some zucchini. She's got her cactus calcium chew there, and she's just going to chow down. It's like having a little dinosaur. She's super cool. She's awesome. And she has a personality on her. But yeah, she was rescued. And again, this is just a quick start to these videos. I'm going to flip this over real quick. 1 second. So yeah, like I was saying, this is just a quick little introduction to my animals. I'll be doing a more in-depth, I can't talk. This is why these probably aren't going to go well. I'm going to get made fun of a lot. Probably by Jeff Cannibal, but regardless. And if anyone wants to know who Jeff Cannibal is, he is probably one of the very best wrestlers in the world today. And everyone should go follow him. But anyway, this is just a quick little, hey, this is my reptile room, this is what I plan to do. But I will eventually go a little bit more in depth. about each animal, and then, you know, some product reviews and see how it goes. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, and this is 25 minutes of your life that just, wow, if you stayed through the end of this, I appreciate it. And if anyone has any questions or has anything or my opinions, just hit me up. And yeah, don't forget to buy your Stockade merchandise, and you can hit me up on that as well. So find me on Instagram and all that good stuff, and we'll talk later.